Hello, it's Sonia here with The Pretty Stitch. Welcome to my channel. If this is your first time joining me, I'm so happy to have you here. So today we are going to be making another cowl. Now with this project you can use a variety of hook sizes and yarn types, but I do suggest using a larger hook. So I have a J hook here, or a 6mm hook. Or you could even probably use an I hook if you were using finer weight yarn. I think it just looks nicer with the stitch pattern. So this project, I already started a sample here, so let me show you. So here we go, and I think it's a really beautiful stitch pattern. But this yarn is a number 3 yarn, a decate weight, and so I used a J hook, which is, you know, probably a slightly larger hook than normal when working with this yarn. So I just find it just looks nicer with the stitch pattern with a larger hook. So this is decate weight yarn number 3, and here is the yarn that I use. I actually have the label. It's from an Annie's Caring Crochet Kit Club, and I guess it probably came with a pattern. I found this at a thrift store, but it is bamboo and cotton yarn, and it's a number 3, as you can see there. And so with this project you can make your cowl as long as you would like, or as wide as you would like. Mine is like a medium size. It's not a super long one. I do like long ones, but this one isn't super long, but it's not like tight around my neck or anything like that, which you'll see in the pictures in the beginning. But for the sample, I'm going to show you just using, this is worsted weight yarn here, and as I said before, you can make this as long as you would like, or in as wide as you would like, short as you would like. So for my sample that I made, I chained 144. So what you would want to do is you want to work a chain that is dividable by 6. So 144 is dividable by 6. So for this sample here, let's chain 24. So 6 times 4 is 24. Okay, so here is my 24 chains. It's dividable by 6 or multiple of 6. You could do that as well. And it's all about the math sometimes. All right, so let's get started for row 1. So we're going to work this in rows, and then we will turn it into a circle, into a cowl shape at the end. All right, so in our second chain from our hook, we're going to work in our back bump here, and we are going to work a herringbone half double crochet. So I've got my yarn over, I'm going to insert my hook in that second chain from my hook, and I'm going to pull up a loop, just like we were working a regular half double crochet. So we have our 3 loops in our hook. So we're going to slip through the middle loop right here. So you just slip it like that, and then you're going to yarn over and pull through the 2, and there you have your herringbone half double crochet. We're going to continue that across, so yarning over, and we're going to slip that middle stitch. Sometimes it's tricky, so you can use your thumb and index finger, especially when you're going slow. This stitch actually I think works better when you're a little bit faster at it. So you're just going to work that herringbone half double crochet all the way across, and this was a stitch of the week. So I can put that link below if you're interested in seeing that. And actually the stitch that we're doing for the main part of the cowl, it was also a stitch of the week as well. Alright, so I'm going to keep going here working my herringbone half double crochet for my row 1. So I will meet you back at the end of my row. Okay, so here is row 1 of my herringbone half double crochet here, and your odd rows will be the right side. Now this particular pattern is fairly reversible, but I did use different colors with mine, and I just prefer the odd side up when using different colors. You can certainly make this all in one color or use different colors, but anyway, we are going to get ready for row 2. So let's chain 1, and we're going to turn our work. And row 2 is just going to be a repeat of row 1. So we're going to work herringbone half double crochet again, all the way across for row 2. So as you can see, when you do it the stitch a little bit more quickly, it's just easier. I think it's something to do with the tension. I'm going to keep going, working row 2, and I will meet you back. Okay, I've got one more stitch to go to finish up row 2. So let's work that stitch and then we can get ready to work row 3. So here we go, we have row 2. So let's get ready to work row 3. So for row 3, you're going to chain 3, and we're going to turn our work. So there we go. And what we're going to do is we are going to work in this chain. So this is like a cluster stitch. They're all linked together across. So once you get going in the pattern, it's actually it's not hard to do at all. But there are a couple steps. So what you're going to want to do is in the second chain from your hook, you're going to insert your hook and pull up a loop. So we have 2 loops. You're going to go into the next chain and pull up a loop. So we have 3 loops. Now we're going to go into that first stitch there, and we're going to pull up another loop. So now we have 4 loops, and we're going to do it 2 more times until you have a total of 6. So there's 5, and there is 6. So now we have 6 loops on our hook. We're going to yarn over and pull through all 6, and then to complete the stitch you're going to chain 1. And there we go. We have our first cluster stitch there. So now we're going to go and work the next one. So to work the next stitch, you're going to work right in that little hole there. You're going to insert your hook in that hole and pull up a loop. So we have 2 loops, and then you can see the parts of the stitch here. So it's kind of like legs. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So in this last leg here, this one right here, you're going to insert your hook into that leg there and pull up a loop. So we have 3. Now we're going to go into the same stitch. So right here, insert your hook, pull up a loop. So there's 4, and now we're going to go work into the regular part of the row. So 5 and 6. So it's not hard, it's just hook placement. That's basically the key to this stitch. Make sure you just put your hook in the right place. So now we have 6 loops on our hook, and we're going to yarn over, pull through all 6, and then you chain 1 to complete the stitch. So we're going to repeat that across. So right back in that hole, right in this leg of the stitch there, pulling up a loop. So we have 3. Now we go into the same stitch, pulling up a loop, 4, and now we go back into the row, 5 and 6. So there we go, and yarn over, pull through all 6, and chain 1. And you just repeat that all the way across. So I'm going to keep going here working this stitch, and I will meet you back at the end of the row to complete it. Okay, so I'm almost to the end of my row here, so you can see we have 2 stitches left. So let's finish this up. So you are going to go work the stitch as usual. So we've got our 3 loops, 4, 5, and 6. So just like that. Yarn over through all 6, chain 1. So now to complete the row, you just need to pop in a half double crochet in that last stitch. And what that does is it just helps give you nice clean edges there. So then row 3 is done. So what you're going to do is we're going to repeat row 3 for however wide you want your cowl. So we're going to chain 3, turn our work, and just do what we did for row 3 for row 4. So working in that chain. So it might look a little confusing looking at it like that, but when you do turn it, you can see the tops of the stitches. They're kind of, you know, the loops are a little bit, the V's are a little bit in different shapes, but don't overthink it. The stitches are there. So there's 3. So this one we're going to pop in there. 4. Here is 5. And there is 6. 6 loops on our hook, yarn over, chain 1, and keep going. So right in that center, right in that leg, right back in that same stitch, and then in the next 2 stitches we have our 6 loops. Pull through all 6, and we just keep going across, and then at the end of your row you will pop in a half double crochet at the end of your row. And I'll meet you back. Okay, almost on row 4. Just have to pop in that last half double crochet. So there we go. So I'm going to show you my sample again. Okay, so here is my sample. So this is what I consider to be the right side. And how I did this was I worked 2 rows of each color. So I have a total of 18 rows that I worked, and I worked 14 rows of the stitch pattern. So what you want to do is you want to work as many rows as you want of the main stitch pattern here, and then your last 2 rows will be the herringbone half double crochet, just like we did in the beginning here. As you can see, this yarn needs to be blocked a little bit. It's that it's bamboo. So it's very nice and drapey, but it needs a little bit of blocking, and that'll kind of straighten the stitches out a little bit better. So again, you can work 18 rows if you want, and I'll show you how I actually carried these colors. So you can't see it on this end, but here we go. On this end, I did carry the colors on the side, and that's why I worked 2 rows of each color so that I could just pick up the other color. So you can see here on the end how I carried. And but we are going to stitch these ends together, and I'm going to stitch around all of these carries to cover that up. So once you have worked enough rows and determine how wide you want your cowl, then you're going to finish it up with 2 rows of the herringbone half double crochet, and then you need to turn it into an actual cowl. So we're going to do that with this actual cowl, because I worked all my rows here. And so I'm going to insert my hook in this yarn, and what you're going to want to do is have your right sides facing. So this is the wrong side. I mean, it looks fine. It doesn't look terrible, but I just prefer that side. I mean, they'll both show once you're wearing it, but it's okay. So you're going to want to match up your ends like so, and have your right sides touching. So this is my right side, right side. So it's folded, so you can see folded, and here are the ends. Now you could actually sew this together, but we're going to stitch it because I don't like sewing. I'm going to chain 1, just it gives me a little bit of wiggle room here. And I'm just going to work across these ends, and as I do that, I'm going to stitch around the carry that I did. So I'm going to insert my hook at the end of this row, right here, like so, and then I'm going to find the other end, pop my hook in there, and we're just going to slip stitch across. And so you just want to, work your slip stitches evenly. You don't want to crowd too many in there, but you don't want to have them too spaced apart either, because that won't look nice either. So it doesn't really matter how many slip stitches you have, you just want to make sure that they're evenly spaced. So I'm going to keep going, just slip stitching across my ends, and I will meet you back. Okay, so I have slip stitched across my ends here. And then when you're done, you'll need to cut your yarn. Sorry I bumped the camera there. Don't want to make you dizzy. Okay, so then when you turn it the right side out, I mean, yes, you have a seam, but this is where you would wear it on your neck, and I don't think it looks too terrible there. So of course you're going to need to weave in some ends. I don't have too many ends to weave in since I carried, but you know, I have a couple. But I think it turned out really pretty. I'm really happy with it. I think it's really nice, and I do like it with this yarn. Definitely needs a block, but as you can see, it has a really nice drape to it, and I think that's because it's I think it's, what is this made out of again? Bamboo and cotton, I think. Yeah, bamboo and cotton, and that gives it a nice drape and be a nice lighter weight cowl. So you know, maybe for springtime or something like that because of the colors. But I hope you enjoyed this project, and if you did, please like and subscribe, and thank you so much for watching.